That is heartbreaking to know that we're doing that to these kids. Being a teenager today, I know I have one. With social media and the pandemic, it is hard enough. But imagine being a teenager who wakes up every day knowing that they aren't the gender they were assigned by biology at birth. Imagine keeping your feelings about that secret for years, worried about what your parents or your friends might say. Imagine the anguish of a scared 12-year-old or 14-year-old sitting in bed, awake for hours each night, trying to process all of that alone with no help. Imagine the courage it then takes for that kid to have the first conversation with a parent or a friend. And then layer on top of that some of the most powerful people in the world deciding to use their power not to cure disease or end poverty or hunger, but instead to use their power to target those very scared, desperate kids and to use their powers to harass and bully and shame them. Imagine how small, how insecure, how weak a person must be to have all that power and to use it to bully children. Seth Walsh was gay, not transgender, but his experience was not much different than Eric's. Students at his school were systematic in their targeting of him because of his sexual orientation. They pushed him down the stairs, they kicked him until he was badly bruised, they screamed at him, they called him names. No doubt these bullies took direction and inspiration from adults who paved the way, who endorsed this kind of hateful behavior. One day after one of these incidents, a frightened Seth called his mom and he said, "Mom, you have to come get me right now." His mom could hear the fear in his voice, and so he grabbed Seth's little brother. They got in the car and they rushed to pick him up. His mom was so supportive. That afternoon they sat and they talked. Seth took a shower to calm himself down, and afterward he asked his mom for a pen and told her that he was going to go outside and play with the dogs. About 10 minutes later, his mom went outside to continue this conversation with her son. But it was too late. Seth had hung himself from a tree. The pen he asked for was for the suicide note. I tell you these stories because they are consequences of adults' behavior. Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and their ilk, they aren't murderers. But make no mistake, there is a direct through line from the hateful words and the policies of leaders and the misery that too many transgender, non-binary, and gay kids are going through today. But I'm also here to tell you that Trump and Taylor Greene, others like them, they are not the majority. And I want to make sure that I finish by sending a message to transgender children and adults that these hateful people, this movement that is growing out there to try to target you, it's not going to win. We are going to build a community of love and protection for you. No matter how bad things may seem right now, they're going to get better. The world is going to get kinder. Adults are going to learn their lessons. And if you don't have it now, as you are struggling with your identity, you will find a support structure that will nurture and support you. It's out there for you. You should be who you are. Don't feel like you need to hide your true self just because of these idiot adults who feel big by bullying people that are different from them. Be who you are and know that there are a whole lot of us who are going to work our tails off to support you, to love you, and to make sure that you get a chance to thrive. Because in the long run, the bullies never win. They never do. Yield the floor.